Most of these are like your own thing.
Easily patience. Very, very easily patience.
It's mainly the money.
That sucks. Yeah. I first got into model painting and building when I was around 14, 15. Originally, what drew me to it, I would see people playing the Space Marine video game, and then I got really into the world of Warhammer, and then I figured out that it was actually a hobby. It originated as a hobby. Miniature painting, you could say that there's some technical skills that come along with it. You get very steady hands from miniature painting, just through practice and technique. But what's really more important is the mindset. You get very, very detail oriented with miniature painting. You start really noticing the little things, and this carries over into everything. You start really caring about the details. And this is thankfully very applicable to what I'm in, which is engineering. The details are very important.
For me right now, I'm not really in the stage of wanting to improve my technique as much as just painting is nice. Like I just think it's a nice thing to do if I'm bored. Put some music on, start painting away, and get a little meditation in. I don't really see myself trying that hard to completely get it perfectly down, but maybe in the future. I first became interested in miniature painting through one of my friends, actually. He really, kind of showed me the way of it. I just, they brought it up one time and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
So I think it hits a lot of different angles. Like you get people who are transitioning between like digital strategy games or novels or even just like art in general. So you come from just multiple different angles of different people who all happen to have a shared interest in one way or another. So I mean, a lot of them start with like a kind of like a mutual friend or something, right? Like they have someone who goes, hey, like look at these little space marines I just put together, or here's some elves, but they're in space. Like you have a lot of people who are brought in because their friends have these cool hand-painted models that they've done, right? So having a buddy always helps.
I think I'm just testing the waters and now I'm figuring out, what I can do with this. Obviously also because it's expensive, to get more paints and more miniatures and all that. So for now, I'd say I'm still kind of figuring it out. It's mainly the money. I had to spend a lot of money on all of this. So, that's a big motivator when it comes to sticking with my guys. Like obviously I'm not just going to paint it and, throw it away.
I would probably say somewhere close to $800. $1,000. Definitely more than $800. I'd say probably close to $1,000. That sucks. Yeah.
I could see it as a very obsessive thing. You want to grow your army, especially with the actual game. For me, it's just painting, but the actual game, like, you gotta collect all the possible figures to, improve your army and, painting and all that. And really getting into like the lore of it all is definitely something that can draw a lot of people to it. So yeah, that's what I'd say to that.
So I think it's a lot of people get super attached to, like they identify with something in Warhammer, whether it's like they have goofy orcs, like the orcs all speak in like a rugby like English dude like gruff accent, right? They ramshackle all their gear together and they will it to work. Like none of their stuff should work, but they psychically make it work. You could go on for hours and hours and hours of just like how in-depth and thought out all these models are and the details on them and where their story comes from. So I think people really just latch on to that, right? Like they find something that's just so neat and so them. And so when they are playing with someone else and they go like, oh yeah, I play orcs, the other guy immediately knows what this person is like, right?
Yeah,
It's almost like a psychological test.
And the paint job that comes along with it is also very important for me personally on what I consider a good model. It's what I invest a lot of time into. So I would say what makes a good model is the paint job and the detail in the paint job. The paint job itself doesn't have to be particularly good. I think the details are way more important and impressive. And the uniqueness of the model itself is what I would consider to be a good model. But to an ordinary model can be good. It can be great. What makes a model great is subjective, obviously. If you think it's a good model to yourself, if you built it, you painted it well, and you think it's really good, it's a good model. It's not particularly important.
Yeah, if they have the time and the money, I would definitely recommend getting my friends into painting. I think, it's just a really nice experience and a nice thing to do.
But what's most important for beginners is the rule of cool, which states that if you think it's cool, just do it. That's most important for beginners because they often get caught up with trying to make sure that everything's lore accurate or good for the board game or whatever. It's not important. If you're beginning, just get what you think is cool. Paint it however you think is cool. That's most important. Don't worry about if it's going to be good or if it's allowed or whatever. Rule of cool. Just do it if you think it's cool.